Good afternoon, culinary teams. Chef Randy Torres here, ACF National Student Chair, bringing you today this year's classical dish. I'm here with my good friend, Chef Sean Hanlon, who will be actually cooking the dish today. This year's dish is Filet de sole, Lady Egmont. It is a beautiful dish. I want to start with introducing the mise en place to you, if you could sit here and take a look at that. And again, you know, we're really into, the committee wants to continue to showcase classical cooking for our students. So Chef Sean Hanlon is going to walk you through this dish. Chef?
Thank you, Chef Torres. Hello, students. How are you? I'm very excited to do this dish today. As we were preparing to produce this video, the processes of learning this dish, even more than just reading it, really helped us figure out the best way to create the sauce. And I mean, it seems like an easy dish reading the recipe, but there's a lot of innuendos and things in there that are implied. So we'll get right to that right now. What we have right here are 4 portions of some fresh petrale sole that were caught hopefully a couple of days ago right down here in Charleston, Oregon. Any sole you choose would be I'm sure a fine product for the dish. These soles were about a pound and a quarter. So I'm using one of the larger fillets and the smaller fillets. So you have about a 3-ounce portion. If you get a bigger sole, your delice would be much, maybe one piece a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna put these fillets of sole into a prepared pan right here. This pan is prepared for poaching, for shallot poaching. I've rubbed it with a little bit of whole butter and some shallots. All right, and I'm gonna just lay these 4 portions in here. All right, this is a perfect sized pan, and it will help us get these fish cooked. All right, obviously I'm gonna season these. I'm gonna season them with a little bit of kosher salt and a grind or 2 of white pepper. And we're going to use a really concentrated, very rich fish stock. As you see here, this fish stock is a little gelatinous. Okay, I'm going to add our fish stock here for our poaching, and this this liquid from the fish and the liquid that is extracted from the fish will create our couson, which is the cooking liquid where we're going to build our sauce. So we have this fish prepared right here, and I'm going to start the poaching process. As you know by reading the recipe, while this poaching process is going, I'm going to cover this with a cloche and a lid. And now that that's going to start poaching here, we're going to prepare our mushrooms. Remember, students, this dish needs the mushroom cooking liqueur from these mushrooms that we're not going to brown. We're just going to sweat in whole butter and some lemon juice. Both the butter and lemon juice and a little bit of salt will help extract that liquid out to create that mushroom cooking liqueur, which goes into our couson and is reduced almost to au sec. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of butter here. Remember, I'm not sauteing these, I'm just getting them sweated out so I can get my liquid out of them, because I need that mushroom cooking liqueur. I do not want to create caramelization on these mushrooms. Check and make sure we're going there. See, we can see that poaching is starting right there. So I'm going to turn this down just a touch. It's beautiful. We want that to go nice, low and slow while we poach that, so that we don't seize that fish up too much. We want to, that poaching process is very delicate. Sole is a very delicate piece of fish, so we want to be very careful with that. See, I've got this butter melting now. We're going to add our mushrooms. Remember, we're not trying to saute these. We're trying to sweat them out so that we get that mushroom cooking liqueur out of these mushrooms. We just want them to be cooked down fully, but not brown. All right? As you see here, I'm going to add a good amount of lemon juice to this, and this will really assist us in building that mushroom cooking liqueur with these mushrooms, because that's an important part, as you know from the reading the recipe, that's an important part of building the sauce. All right, we're going to check our fish And you're going to notice that this dish cooks very, very quickly. All right, I don't want to brown these, as I said, so I'm going to turn my pan down here, my induction cooker. Look at that fish. Oh man. I'm going to come up just a touch. So that fish is done right when we have our mushroom cooking liqueur. The nuances in this dish are very, very important. It talks about reducing things by half, but you want to make sure that it's reduced enough. For instance, when that cream is added to the SWOCC Cousson and mushroom cooking liqueur, you need to bring that down far enough to where you can whisk in the butter and it will hold, because that's how you're going to get that beautiful glaze when we put it into the oven. All right, you see these mushrooms here, how much liquid we're getting off of them? All right, I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. I don't think I did. That will also help draw out some more liquid. See, we've created that mushroom cooking liqueur in there, and they're beautiful white because that lemon juice really brightened up those mushrooms. Okay, look at this fish. Oh man, look at that. We're just about there. Cooked beautifully. Now that I've got our mushrooms done, I'm going to put these aside. And we're going to start creating our Cousson. We're going to check and make sure this fish is done. I'm going to give it about another minute, and then we'll be ready to start our sauce. We're going to start our sauce in this pan, or finish the sauce in this pan right here after we strain the Cousson and mushroom cooking liqueur, because we want to remove those shallots that we had in our shallot poaching pan. We want to remove those shallots and have a nice clean sauce, because traditionally this dish does not call to have shallots in it, but we all know that in a shallot poaching method, this is how we're going to prepare our pan. All right, see how we've got the mushroom cooking liqueur there? All right, that's going to really give us some extra flavor in our finished sauce. All right, we're going to take our fish out. Okay. I'm going to remove the portions onto a draining rack here. I hope our cameramen are getting hungry here, because this dish should be done very, very soon. By the way, we want to thank Southwestern's media folks here, because they're doing an awesome job helping us with the filming here. All right, see, we've got our Cousson here. This Cousson is our cooking liquor, the stock that we're going to create our sauce with for this sole dish. Chef Torres limited me on the amount of equipment I can have out here, so I'm doing my best with what I have, but it's all working well right now. So you see that I'm building my sauce, and I'm going to take these beautiful white mushrooms. See how I'm building that mushroom cooking liqueur in there? I'm putting that into my reduction, to my Cousson. And that's going to go into the finished sauce.
Chef, what do you think the main points that you could make to the culinary teams that are cooking this year that we'll be looking for?
Well, as I said, it seems like a very innocuous recipe when you read it, but the facts and the nuances of building this sauce are what's very important, and taking this reduction down far enough. Okay, so we've got right here, what have we got? We've got the fish stock, the mushroom cooking liqueur, obviously that's flavored well with lemon. Okay, and I'm going to take these beautiful fish portions that are poached perfectly. I'm going to cover them here with a piece of foil and keep them warm. And as you see, we're doing well here with this. Okay, see how that's reduced to almost all set? We're going to add our cream. And now we're going to reduce this almost to all sec, and then we're going to strain it, and we're going to whisk in our butter. All right, and then we will finish this sauce with the asparagus tips, and the beautiful sliced cleaned mushroom caps. And then we're going to plate our fish in our 4 dishes, which I'm going to prepare right now. And then we'll glaze them. And Chef Torres will talk about how we're going to offer you 4 different options to plate this dish. During our research and talking to Chef Barnes and other master chefs, we really came up with the dish it calls for, a gratin dish, but we obviously want to give a few more different options for that. So as you see, our sauce is being built nicely here.
Chef, just to go back to the sole itself, you mentioned you used a local sole that we caught here in Charleston.
Petrale.
A Petrale sole. Would you recommend teams to use what's freshest?
Freshest available in their area. Whatever you could get that gets the best product. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is just provide the best product for these finished dishes here. So, as you see, I'm straining this out because we want those shallots out of our croissant. And this is what we're going to build our sauce with. Okay, we're going to finish this sauce and get everything else prepared. Our sole's ready. We've got this getting warmed back up because we're going to beat our butter into that. We have our sole we're going to plate nice and warm still. I'm going to pull that off because I want to be able to whisk that butter in there. And as you noticed here, I've got a little bit of drainage from the poached fish. I'm going to just put a touch of that in my sauce too to help. You don't want to lose this beautiful essence here. I have our sole. Now you notice here there's 2 fillets. That was because these were small fish. I have 1 large fillet and 1 small fillet for each dish. All right. Obviously, if you have a bigger fish, you may have just 1 cut. All right, see over here? This is important, folks. See how I've got that going there? I'm going to start whisking in our butter. We don't want this to break because this is what we're going to build that glaze with. Okay, we're adding our asparagus tips. Our butter goes in. Chef, would you grab me those mushrooms? Look at this. See how we're building this? It all happens very quickly. All right, and we're beating that butter in there. And that's what's creating our emulsion. This emulsion and this sauce is what's going to create our beautiful glaze on our fish when we finish it in a screaming hot oven. All right? Look at that. Butter's whisked in. It's emulsified nicely. I'm going to put the sauce over each one and get them in the oven. And then Chef Torres is going to talk about the plating options that we have offered here. Chef, how many tips did I have per order, do you know?
We're looking at about 3 tips per order.
Look at that sauce.
If they are a little smaller, you may go 5. It's really what you have available to you.
Oh, this smells good. It's getting hungry.
You can see Chef Hanlon's really coating the fish with the sauce, and he's preparing to put it in the oven for the glazing, which is a big part of this dish.
And the key to that glazing part is that you need to be very, very careful because you don't want this emulsion that you've created to break. That's why it's very important to whisk that butter in well and have those reductions done nicely, because if that doesn't happen, this sauce will break when we put it in the oven. Now, Chef, I'll have these over here for you to talk about in just a minute, all right?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, beautiful job, Chef. As you can see, the fish is cooked perfectly. What we wanted to do at this stage is give you 4 different options to look at. Now, you know, we all know we have different ideas and styles, different possible plates available to you. The dish does call for to gratin the fish at the end. So we did go with maybe like a classic gratin style dish, but if you want to use something a little bit more modern or possibly a bowl, it's you have options here. So have a great time doing this. For your reading, on the ACF website is a fact sheet that I developed that basically covered all the things that Chef Hanlon said and gave you all of the sub recipes that Escoffier would use for this dish. Chef, you have any final closing?
Final closing. I just want everybody to notice here, gentlemen, if you could just make a zoom in on some of these dishes. That glazing, you want to see that sauce just glisten. You don't want to see browned bits, just because that sauce will break. But as you notice here, all the asparagus tips and the mushrooms are just glistening because that sauce was emulsified nicely, and this is what we're looking for. So enjoy.
Well,
thank you very much.
On behalf of the competition committee, we wish you a great season and good cooking.
We look forward to your questions.